I'm fine.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV. Delighted to be joined by CONOR BENN. It's been quite a while actually since we've actually done anything.
Yeah, it's been a while, mate. I ain't seen you for a minute. How are you?
I'm alright, how are you? How's life? Obviously hectic, fight scheduled, baby on the way. Yeah, it's all going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting times, man. I mean, yeah, it's nothing short of a blessing.
Let's drop straight into it. Obviously, your fight date has been announced now for the 3rd of February in Las Vegas, which we'll come on to the opponent in a second, but just to get a fight date locked in, considering how inactive you have been over the last sort of nearly now 2 years, it must be a bit of a relief that you've got a fight date locked in again.
Job for me is just excited to get back out, doing what I do, doing what I love, and yeah, man, just excited to get back out, stateside especially. You know, that's where all the world titles are, so you know, I'm on that hunt.
Obviously, we spoke a little bit off camera about this, but from what Eddie Hearn said, there were kind of other opponents being mentioned. But why Dobson? Why is he your next opponent on February the 3rd?
Yeah, listen, it ain't really down to me. You know, I say yes to any man, whoever they present to me. You know, and he was amongst a few names, and you know that was the name that was picked, and you know I'm not gonna, you know that's the name I'm gonna fight. You know, as long as he's got 2 arms and 2 legs, I don't really I don't really care. Obviously, it's not the ideal opponent everyone wanted, but you know he took the fight on 6 weeks' notice, so you know credit to him when many turned it down.
I've always noticed all the way through your career, everyone's always got an opinion about who you're fighting, your opponent, etc., etc. So there's nothing new in that. People, if they're for it, against it, ultimately you're going to do what you think's right for your career.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if it was down to the public, they'd have me fight one and throw me in for a world title 3 fights in, you know, but unfortunately there's a lot of other factors that play into making the big fights, the mandatories. Do they want to fight me? You know, it's not always just about, yeah, let's make a fight and the fight gets made. You know, other people may not want the fight. Different promotions, different, you know, so there's so many different factors. Money's got to be right as well. So I'll fight anyone. Obviously, listen, I was willing to go up to 160 to take a big fight. You know, I'll sure as hell fight anyone at 147. You know, that don't concern me at all. So listen, I'll fight whoever. I want the biggest names, the biggest fight possible. You know, I want a legacy-defining fight. So, you know, unfortunately, that's not Feb 3rd, but it's a step in the right direction to securing the world honours.
Let's kind of pin back over the last couple of months, I suppose, a frustrating period for you, and also obviously we got to a point, various stages before Christmas, where we were kind of just waiting for an announcement of your fight which obviously didn't materialise with Chris EUBANK. We've had various conversations with Eddie about and tried to get to the bottom of why it didn't happen. The understanding we can have is that the numbers didn't match up from EUBANK's side to what was being offered. But can you just kind of give us your take on the collapse of that fight for the time being anyway?
I'm not really too involved in the negotiations. You know, I'm a fighter. My job is to fight. Is that the man? Yes, no problem. Is that the amount? No problem. Run it up a little bit more, then we're good. You know, and that's that. And then I just focus on the training and the fighting. You know, I'm disappointed in the fight not happening, but it's the fight I want to give the fans. You know, the big names, the big fights. There's a lot of talk about me fighting these big names. You know, why are they not happening? Why are the big fights not happening? I'm ready to go for any of them. You know, I was preparing for a big fight. You know, that's why it is unfortunate that, you know, I've got the opponent I had, but, you know, I'll make it look like what it is. You know, I'll go into this fight and make the fight look like what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, just going back to that with EUBANK, Conor, if you obviously, I know you're focused now, and it's like for the time being, this is behind you, the situation with EUBANK. But are you optimistic that this fight can still happen this year?
Do you know what? I feel like You got to remember, I'm the one giving everything away here. You know, I'm coming up 2 weight divisions. It's that fight takes me off course of originally where we were set out to go. You know, so we'll see what big names are there at 147, but I think it's a matter of time before I just capture what's mine, you know, and you know, and get that strap around my waist. So for me, that's what's important. And listen, who knows what the future holds, but right now I'm on that hunt, and you know, I'm not going to be sidetracked by this and by that. Money comes and goes, you know, and that's the way I look at it. Money does come and go, you know, but legacy stands. So that's what I've instructed the team to do.
So for yourself, it's more about get yourself into contention to fighting for a world title ahead of anything else, and if that includes anything else being EUBANK, your priority is to win a world title. Yeah,
listen, always money always talks, but the big names and the big fights is what I want, obviously. But in saying that, it's something I've got to do. You know, as I said, money comes and goes. You know, the big fights are what I want. And, you know, if I don't have to come up to 160 to do it, then, you know, even better.
How would you sum up your 2023 in boxing terms? How would you sum it up?
Boxing terms or as a whole?
As a whole, your 2023 as a whole.
As a whole. Do you know what? In a weird way, a lot of blessings. A lot of blessings. I realised a lot. I've changed a lot myself. Well, you're bound to. But 2023, how would I sum it up? A year of ups and downs. Gratitude, blessings, tough times. And I learned a lot about myself. You know, I stayed disciplined, you know, even when you're not motivated, you know, because everyone's not always going to want to be not being motivated, especially when I'm getting pulled left, right and centre with this and with that and with everything going on. It's so hard to just go to the gym and do what I love to do when you got all this noise. But one thing I'm proud of myself is just staying disciplined and just staying the course. Motivation can only take you so far. Discipline takes you further. And for me, being disciplined and working through the storm, and you know, I'm really proud of myself. To be honest, that's what I've learned about myself is the resilience and strength I've built up over the past 2 years. To just trust God, and do my part and control what I can control.
I suppose the silver lining for you is that you did get to fight in 2023, even if it was just for rounds, etc. But you did have that one fight in 2023. So that must have been a small silver lining kind of in your year as well.
Yeah, well, I won the case in 2023. You know, so really I should be completely clear of all this. You know, I won the case, you know, and that was it, closed. So you can say that's a highlight. You know, I won the case, free to fight anywhere in the world. So, you know, I was excited to get back out. It was a blessing, man, getting back out. Or there was a lot of emotions. You know, it was really a matter of dealing with your demons. If you could look at your demons in the mirror and face them head on, that's what that night was for me.
Just coming on to that, what is the current situation regarding yourself and the British board? Of what you could tell us, I'm sure there's loads you can't, but
there's nothing new. You know, it's very well documented. You know, I'm very disappointed in the stance that they've taken when you do the comparison with me and other fighters. Very disappointed, yeah, because you know they're our own organisation. But you know, I was proud to be cleared by the WBC of any doping, you know, situation. I was cleared. You know, the relevant organisation of this case. So for me, it's hard. It's challenging because it's your character that's being targeted, and when it's your character, it's hard to just sit back and just take a back seat. But you know, I won the case. They chose to appeal, which was come as a surprise to me. It didn't come as a surprise to others, but it was a surprise to me. You know, but no doubt, you know, I'll win the case again. And you know, I trust God. I trust my team. You know, I let them handle what they can. and they take all this pressure off me, and whether it's good news, bad news, they just handle everything and allow me to just be the best fighter I can be. And me stay in the gym, stay disciplined, where most fighters would have put on, 3-4 stone. I've stayed in the gym, I've stayed working, I've stayed disciplined. Sometimes you get knocked back in life, but you really just have to just keep it moving. Just keep going. And in 6 months' time, it won't be as bad as it seems. But when you're going through it, it may be the end of the world. It may be, how am I going to see it tomorrow? How am I going to make it through to tomorrow? But for everyone out there who's going through something, mine was obviously public humiliation. Mine was, extremely public, which made it 10 times harder. But everyone's going through something. And I feel like if you can just weather the storm, it will give you nothing but resilience and strength. So just keep going, keep it moving, stay disciplined, don't fold under the pressure, rise to it, and just keep doing what you're doing, man. And that was what helped me get through, is each day it gets better. Each day you learn to deal with it better. And I'm at a stage now where I'm through it. Irrelevant of the outcome, I'm through it. And for me, it's taught me a lot of life lessons about people, financially, family, who called and checked up on me. It says a few people I'm surprised that who didn't call me and say, how are you? And then there's a few people I'm surprised that did. So you learn a lot about people, and it really does show who I want to carry on my journey with.
Do you look at, I know you just said there, whatever's going to happen is going to happen, but do you see this situation with the board as something that is hanging over your head? Do you feel that you want to get that resolved in your favour, because you are a fighter from here, and I'm assuming that ideally for you, you'd like that situation kind of dealt with as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is home for me. This is where this is where my supporters are. This is where my they've done this journey with me. I feel like people are really invested in my journey. Yeah, I've gone through some adversity, but tell me some legends or, great sportsmen who haven't. Everyone goes through adversity at some stage in their career, some stage in their life, whether they committed it, whether they didn't. Everyone goes through something in life, and I feel like a lot of people are invested in my journey. This is just another chapter in the book. You think I'm only 27 years old, which is mad because I feel like 40. I feel like this past 2 years aged me about 10 years. But yeah, it's all part of the story, man. And, I've got the best team around me. And I've got me. Do you know what I mean? I've been surprised at the way I've dealt with this. I've surprised myself at how hard it's been and how disciplined I've been to get up at, again, early hours in the morning and train 2 times a day and spar. And, some days it's just like, man, how did I even get here? Like, how am I even here? Having to do this, having to have this mentality. But, as I said, when I get in the ring, I really do look at another man. I go, what, you think he can beat me? After what I've been through. I've had to fight myself every day for the past 2 years. What can you do to me? What do you think you can do to me? And that's what it's taught me.
The first sort of, if you look at, like, say, maybe a 14, 15-month period, the first 7 months of that period, which would have obviously been your most difficult, kind of going through everything, at any point there, did you kind of contemplate whether you would box again?
Yeah, but not for the reasons that I just fell out of love with it. It was very naive of me to think. Do you know what? Weirdly, in my head, I thought everyone would just be like, "Nah, this can't be. What's wrong? What's happened? Something's definitely not right. 'Cause that's not Conor." Or, honestly, all my life, that was what I thought would be the reaction. But when your own people, it was hard for me to be, because it was like, it's the worst thing that can happen to anyone in sport. especially in combat sport. It's the worst thing that can happen to anyone. You know, and no one's listening. No one's, you know, that's how it felt, and I was just like, it was like just a, you know, a dark hole that I just fell down, and only you can save yourself. My family couldn't save me, my son, you know, I was in a bad way. I was a broken man. You know, I worked so hard for so many years. Yeah, I was fragile.
There was a period I noticed that you seemed really kind of angry against the world almost, but you don't seem like you're in that space of being like angry and kind of, you know, it's like me against the world, etc. It might be that to a certain degree, but is that fair in what I've just said there, that there was a period of the last sort of 14 months where you did seem like you was like ready to blow and, you know, that kind of mentality?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was like grieving. So I was grieving my career. It was like I went through the period of like disbelief for maybe the first couple of weeks. And then it was just like hearing the reaction was just like you lot actually thought I'd done this. Like you guys actually, like you actually think I did. And it was like, it's a hard pill to swallow because it targets who I am. Like, I'm not perfect. Like, I'm not no saint. Like, I ain't enough. Like, I have battled the same demons everybody else does. Not this. I always thought I'd go through adversity in my career. You know, turn pro at 19. Never this. You know, so for me, it was really hard. So when I dedicated my life to this is what I do. I left home in Sydney. I left my family behind to come here and pursue this. You know, to do my family proud. To do my son proud. You know, so when now all of that's now questioned, when all it is nothing but hard work. Nothing but hard work and sacrifice and discipline. Like, it was like, man, how do I take this in? Like, I just wake up and cry in the morning.
How important, or not important, is it for you to not? I'm gonna you say this kind of word this how I mean it, in possibly having to win back some of the public. Is that important to you?
Those who believe will always believe, and those who don't. You know, and that's it. You know, so those who believe will always believe, and those who don't. But you really do see other fighters who now have something to say. You know, like can't believe like the change in 3 years, 4 years. You know, is phenomenal. Like, you know, where's this come? It's like, oh my gosh, are you sure? Not one word's ever come out of your mouth about my success, but now there's an excuse for CONOR Benn's success. Now there's an excuse for the knockouts. Now there's an excuse for the beautiful performances. There ain't no excuses here. This is nothing but hard work, DNA, and sheer talent.
I mean, you've spoken about this before, and it's sometimes that you know, the public's opinion, etc., and the comments you read, etc. But when it's people within the industry, I suppose that cuts a little bit deeper when it's actual people, ex-fighters, whoever, that have said what they've said and had their opinion, which to a certain degree, obviously everyone's entitled to their opinion. You could argue, but I suppose that's what's cut a bit deeper when it's actually people from the industry.
No, because there's other fighters who you can tell are just jealous. Like, who would I rather be, me or them? I'd rather be me, you know, every day of the week. Twice on Sundays. So when you're talking about these other fighters who may have done this at GB but failed as a pro, or done this there and failed as, like, say what you want to say, do what you want to, like, it makes no difference to me because I'm still come home and I'm still blessed. I still come into my family, I'm still blessed. You know, like, I ain't got time to sit down and bicker and, like, it's just, they can say what they want to say. I think there's a few people that I know that I was shocked at, who could have just called me and said, yo, like, what's happening? What's gone on? And then I'm not a serial liar. Do you know what I mean? Like, I ain't going to look like and that's what was hard for me as well. It was like, you've seen me as a kid. You've seen me develop. You've seen me change. You've seen me grow throughout the years. It's like, really? You know, but bad news always sells quicker than good news. You know, and yeah, listen, I was a bit disappointed with a few people, but, you know, It's fine. Has it changed my life? Has their opinion changed my life? Not really, no. So, and that's the stage I've got to now. You sort of develop thick skin. Not that you ever really want to be that way, but sometimes you go through things in life and you have no choice but to be that person.
Come through, Dobson. If I could give you 2 fights this year, any 2 fighters this year, who do you pick?
I'd probably go Barrios and then Haney. You got Ennis in there as well, but his dad, who's his mouthpiece, said that he's not interested in the fight. So, it's mad, because you got me calling the guys out and then people not taking them and then saying they don't want the fight, and yet I'm the one who gets the stick of it. So I'm like, listen, whoever, and I mean that when I say I was willing to go up to 160 and fight any man at 147. There's no concern to me. I'm confident in my ability. I'm confident in what I do. My work ethic and just my mindset, the way I am as an individual. I'm confident I am. Yeah, beat any man.
You didn't name EUBANK in that too. You went for Barrios and Haney. You didn't specifically name Chris.
Yeah, because he's at a different stage in my careers where who's he got? Where's he gonna go? What's he going to do? Fight Janibek? Charlo? So for me, I'm like, I'm going to make money. Do you know what I mean? For me, it's right now about, cementing my legacy.
Okay. Well, listen, I know you're flying out to finish off your camp, obviously prior to February the 3rd at the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas. So, yeah, and a couple of boys from the gym on the card as well. George and Jimmy on the card as well.
Yeah, George Liddard and Jimmy Sains, great fighters. And, yeah, man, excited to have them on the bill. You got Johnny Fisher, the Bosch Army, coming out. So, yeah, 4 boys from Essex. So hopefully we have a great turnout there.
Obviously, you're right getting involved with the Bosch Army out there. I'm sure they'll liven up Las Vegas.
What the old Z-Bosch.
And obviously, you're the birth of your pending daughter is imminent as well. So you've got a big 4 months coming up.
Yeah, my sister's wedding as well. So we're going to LA for the training camp, then going to Vegas for the fight, and then flying straight to Sydney for the wedding, and then straight to Perth, and then back home, and then the baby's due any week.
Interesting, exciting times ahead for yourself. What did you get for Christmas?
Don't know, mate.
You look like someone who'd be a pain in the arse to buy for, to be fair. Because I think you'd be one of these people, if you want something, you just go and buy it.
Yeah, I do. But I don't know, I probably got a pair. Actually, I got the underwear I'm wearing now. Yeah. Yeah, I got a pair of boxers.
How was your Christmas and New Year? Obviously a bit different. Obviously you was in camp in the middle of all that as well, so you couldn't kind of go all out. I don't really know if you go all out on Christmas anyway, regardless.
Not really. For Eli we do. But us two, we're not really like it was for Eli, and time spent with the family, and it was beautiful. It was our last Christmas for free. I had my nan over. Normally I host Christmas, but yeah, it was nice and quiet this time round. I had a little bit of turkey, some veg, couple potatoes, and that was it, man. But it was lovely. It was nice and relaxing. It was nice because Eli fully understands it now. And he fully gets it, which was beautiful to see. But, yeah, last Christmas for free.
Okay. Well, listen, appreciate your time as always. It's good to have a little catch-up before you fly out. So, yeah, best of luck in the rest of your camp. Have you got anything you'd like to add before we finish, Conor?
No, mate, just a big thank you to all my supporters who have been tuning in and following the journey. And, I'm forever grateful for all the support. And, yeah, Las Vegas, Sin City. Let's hit it up and let's have a mad turnout.
It's the nicest interview I think you've done with me. It's like
What do you mean?
no, it's just like it's really nice, like chilled, really nice. Just saying.
Call me at the end of the day.
What?
Call me at the end of the day when I'm winding down.
I wonder what that was. Just your dog there. I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, no, it's I'm just excited, man. You know, I feel truly blessed by all my supporters. You know, I'm really grateful because I wouldn't have made it through without the support that I get shown. And yeah, as I said, it's nothing short of a blessing. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that kept me here today, that supported me and continues to support me. I'm overwhelmed by love and support from the general public, you know. So forever grateful, man.
Conor Benn, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. Like I said, best of luck and good luck on Feb the 3rd. We'll catch up with you again ahead of that.
Pleasure. Thank you.
I'm fine.